Hi everyone, I'm Tam, and we are back with another My Experiences. Mexican people, as in people who are generally from Mexico. I'm not too aware of like the different like kind of nuances. Like there's like a Mexican like Spanish, which means you're like from Spain or something, and there's like Latinos. I think that's from like South America or something. So it's like a different like I guess set of cultures that I'm not too aware of. However, when I say Mexican people, I'm referring to people specifically like who ethnicity can be traced predominantly back to just the country Mexico. And that's what it is. Uh, I grew up in the Bay Area, San Jose, which is like pretty much it's pretty much like half Vietnamese, kind of half Mexican. That's kind of the kind of like predominant cultures there. So my experience is that Mexicans tend to be the hardest working. Like they don't really complain about anything. They just kind of just do it. You know, like of course of course there's like kind of outliers, people who don't really fit into the group. Same for any kind of like ethnicity. Like for example, in Vietnamese, there's probably some kind of kid out there doing something that his family doesn't want him to do. Kind of shameful, like I guess selling drugs or something. I mean, like I know it's kind of rare to, I guess, hear about, I guess, Asians doing that kind of stuff, but definitely they do exist, no doubt. You know, and the point being is that the majority of my experiences are with Mexicans. They tend to be the hardest working. They don't really complain about anything. They just kind of just do it. Like I mean, it is what it is, you know. So they understand the hardship associated with like I guess making ends. You know, it's just hard to do to make an income. You know, to do things in this world. It's like the stuff that most people kind of take for granted. They kind of understand like what actually is what actually takes to actually make it happen. You know, to start a company is not an easy thing to do. I mean, to start a company that doesn't like a fail is not a easy thing to do. But anyway, so it's a hard life, and they understand that. You know, I've I've never had I guess I never had any major issues with the Mexican people, and usually when it is because I can't really understand their intentions, because because sometimes they try like break your balls or something, you know, like I think that's more of a kind of a machismo kind of thing, like a kind of Spanish, like a kind of like machismo, you know, you have to be kind of like the dominant alpha or whatever. But that's more of like that's more of those who are from like I guess Spain or something. Like they have the kind of machismo, like you have to like be the alpha or something in the room, and they kind of like poke at you and stuff like that to kind of like figure you out, you know. But that's a different story. Mexican people tend to be like very understanding and like compassionate, because I think because it's mainly because they have like very large families. So you have to understand like a bunch of different like types of individuals to make things work. Because if your family is just you, it's just like a mom, a father, and like a son or daughter, you don't really have to try hard to understand like I guess somebody else. However, when your family is like your mom plus like your father, plus like three different siblings, and like I guess two nearby like aunt and like uncle family, you have to like be more mindful like of the needs of other people. So for that purpose, that's why Mexicans tend to be very compassionate people, because they understand like this person's probably struggling pretty hard, you know, or this person is like acting a certain way because you know something's probably bothering them in the background. So they're kind of like aware that like this person is not this way because of who they are, because of like something else. It's kind of like I guess bothering them in the background that he can't really see at the moment, you know. So they tend to be more compassionate people, because you have to. Otherwise you may cause problem for the family, and nobody is happy at the end of the day for that. You know. So yeah, like so Mexicans tend to be like the hardest working. They don't really complain about anything. You just kind of do it. You know. You kind of do it. You enjoy your time for what it is, and kind of just move on to something else. I mean, like hardships happen. you move past it, and you kind of just progress to something else more meaningful, something else more fulfilling and worth your time. So they don't complain about the hard labor. They just do what you can for wherever you are. Like sometimes it's just hard. Like sometimes you come from sometimes I guess for example, you wake up in the morning and then like you hear a news like one of your family member is in hospital or something. You still have to like show up to the work and do something, So through whatever hardship, you try to push onwards. And as I said, they tend to be the most understanding of people, because you kind of have to be when you're in a big family. When you're in a small family, you can get away with, I guess, a lot of things, and nobody really gives you enough attention. When you're in a big family, you have more eyes on you, so you have to like hold yourself together, otherwise, you may piss somebody off, or like you step on somebody's toes, and now it's kind of a big issue for other people. So yeah, yeah, the Mexicans tend to be like the most like hardworking, and passionate. Generally, like, hardworking and passionate, and like they come in like different like flavors too. They have the entire range of like personality, like from introverts to extroverts, from I guess dark skin to light skin, like the entire like spectrum. It's like a subculture of like humanity. Like you have the entire spectrum, from kids who just want to like skateboard to like somebody who wants to like I guess be like a NASA engineer. You have the entire like range of individuals. So it's pretty much like having the entire world condensed into like smaller kind of like area or something. Like yeah, there's a lot of like, I guess life and spice there.